About Memphis.
From the boardroom to the streets. With Mike from Memphis, man. Together we can fix things. Really.
When you say, I want to be treated fairly, and I want a voice.
Yeah.
I want
He saw things.
We got folks shooting people up out the frame. Ain't nobody said a word. We've become accustomed to people dying in this city.
Yeah. It's Memphis 360.
Turning the TV on and the news and see our loved ones and see young people that are out of control. And now you see, okay. We talk about incarceration. We talk about the youth. We talk about giving them the ability. We talk about investing.
It's Memphis 360. Man.
And good evening. We'd like to welcome you to another edition of Memphis 360, the television show where we like to say we go from the boardroom to the streets. And with everything going on now with the city council and the county commission and Mayor Strickland and Chief Davis and the activists out in the middle of the streets and all of this stuff because of the Tyre Nichols incident, you have to be able to go from the boardroom to the streets to follow what's going on. Hey, we got a good show for you tonight, though. We have a special guest in the studio. She has not given a whole lot of interviews. She's only given a few. And I feel fortunate to have the current president of the Memphis Police Association in the studio with me tonight, Miss Essica Rosario. And we get to talk to her and possibly ask her some questions in regards to what's going on with the Memphis Police Association within the Memphis Police Department. This is not a show that we're going to delve on Tyre Nichols. This is a show that post Tyre Nichols. We probably touch on it a little bit, but this is post Tyre Nichols because there's some other things going on. I've received so many phone calls, so many text messages, so many inboxes, because a lot of the officers on the Memphis Police Department are not happy. And Councilman Martavius Jones said, "Where is Waldo?" And a lot of people say, well, why you say where's Waldo? At that time, City Council person Martavius Jones was saying, we, the citizens of the city of Memphis, are used to the police director at the time, they changed it to chief once she came, keeping the citizens informed, talking directly to the citizens and not necessarily talking to CNN, NBCS, and all of this other kind of stuff, but letting the citizens know what's going on and having that relationship with the citizens themselves. Me personally, I think that's because she's not from here. She doesn't feel the city of Memphis. She has no attachment to the city of Memphis. So therefore, she doesn't know the flow of the city of Memphis. And I'm going to tell you, I'm starting to feel she does not know the flow of the Memphis Police Department. This has nothing to do with anyone. This has nothing to do with my guest tonight, because that's why I don't have on the screen. This is Mike Williams, citizen, Mike Williams, veteran, Mike Williams, father, Mike Williams, voter, Mike Williams, taxpayer, here in the city of Memphis. And I just happen to be the former president of the Memphis Police Association as well. But I don't think she has an attachment here. So I don't think she has the flow. Now, the reason the officers are so upset is because we understand, or they understand, and retirees understand the fact that she had to do her job, and she did it expeditiously when it came to the incident with Mr. Nichols. But when it comes to a fallen officer, we feel some kind of way about that. We attach our emotions to that because it could have been me. We attach our feelings to that because it could have been me. We attach our everything to that because it could have been me. But instead of me, it was an outstanding officer who has done nothing but assisted this community, who served as a Marine in the United States Marine Corps, who teaches Sunday school at Greater Community Temple. Yet, this police chief has not come out and acknowledged the death of Officer Geoffrey Redd. And a lot of police officers are very, very upset in regards to that. The other thing that they're upset about is there were some events this weekend, and hey, they were doing good things with the kids and all of that good stuff, but Director Chief C.J. Davis did not have on a mourning band, which is the black band that you see on most officers' badges when you see an officer that has given the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. So a lot of officers were upset about that. Now, I will tell you, it was right after it was announced that Officer Geoffrey Redd had succumbed to his illness. But there were other individuals at the same event that she was at that were in fact wearing their band over their badges. And then even the following day, that morning, she still did not have it on. However, she put it on later that morning. But it was just the fact that police officers, retired police officers, feel that that is very disrespectful. But that goes back to, once again, I feel she has no attachment and don't feel, because if in fact she had attachment to this department and policy, it says that you will do that. Policy says you will do that. And if in fact that's the way it is, she should have been the very first to, number one, acknowledge to the public that, hey, look, just like I took care of what happened with Mr. Tyre Nichols, I want you to understand that we feel very strongly about what has happened to my officer, an individual who teaches Sunday school at Greater Community Temple. You say you want good officers. This is an example of one of the best officers. Was in the Marine Corps, serving his community, church member, father. And then it's also been stated how he loved to help citizens. He deserved all of the respect that is due. He gave his life in the performance of his duties right here in the city of Memphis at the library on Poplar. You can't ask for anything more than that. So officers on the Memphis Police Department within the Memphis Police Association feels that he deserved the respect of the citizens that he protects, the men and women on the Memphis Police Department that he worked alongside, and that police chief. Anyway, I had to get that off my chest because it actually bothered me. I did a video somewhat in regards to it, and some officers and retirees are logging in, weighing in, and they're not liking it. There are a lot of changes that are happening on the Memphis Police Department. And you're doing some things that to the Police Association that I don't like. I don't like them. There is an MOU. That MOU needs to be adhered to. And I'm going to leave it at that. All right? Anyway, hey, we got a good show for you. I got Essica Rosario in the studio. She is the president of the Memphis Police Association. Yeah, we still got crime going on. We got 11-year-olds that are doing all kinds of stuff. think we have an 11-year-old that got arrested 9 times. 9 times in less than 2 months. Robbery, carjacking, vehicle theft, possession of a handgun, 11 years old. And he got released all of those times. And then I saw right before I came that a lot of people are upset because the individual who shot the 5-6 people, I believe down in Whitehaven, they call it a mass shooting at Club Live or something Live, V Live or whatever it is. He had a bond of $150,000. His bond was reduced to $25,000. Those 2 individuals that were locked up for that particular incident are back out in the city of Memphis. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Can you actually imagine hosting your next event at the all-new SVP Banquet and Event Center? Yes, spacious, beautiful venue with plenty of parking, located in the heart of East Memphis. Let us host your next intimate birthday gathering, family repast, bachelorette party, wedding and reception, baby shower, corporate meeting, social club event. Call us today. Don't wait. 901-244-6874. The all-new SVP Banquet and Event Center.
You're talking about a good time, children. When we all alone. Come on now.
Center Stage Gospel Music live from Memphis, Tennessee, featuring gospel artists from around the world. Toe-tapping, hand-clapping, down-home gospel music. Watch on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and your local Comcast. Download the SVP TV app now on your smart television and mobile device. Center Stage Gospel season premieres Sunday, 8 p.m. Central.
Ladies, do you feel feminine during your feminine flow? You know, your monthly cycle, your period? Are you still suffering in silence? The suffering is over. It's time to choose Rain. Rain is an all-natural, premium sanitary napkin with 8 layers of cotton, high-grade polymers, graphene to help cut bacteria by 99.9%. Ladies, let's protect the most precious jewel in the world, you.
Rain Premium Sanitary.
Hey folks, it's Issa Haddad here. I got some good news and a special invitation for you to come see me here at Sunrise Collierville. Come on down, check out my inventory with new, pre-owned, and certified vehicles to choose from. I can get you financed when no one else can. Come on by, bring your family. I treat you like family. Come see me, Issa, here at the #1 dealership in the Mid-South, 4605 Houston Levy Road, Sunrise Collierville. Come on down, check out my inventory with hundreds of vehicles to choose from, pre-owned, new, and certified.
Good news from Sunrise Chevrolet. Get in your new vehicle today. Come on in, ask for Issa. Bankrupt, slow pay, bad credit, it's okay. Let Issa put you in your brand new truck or car today when you shop at Sunrise Chevrolet Collierville.
And don't forget, ask for me, Issa.
For over 20 years, OPOX has been keeping the Mid-South
warm in the winter and cool in the summer.
OPOX is family owned and operated, so our family will take care of yours every step of the way. And right now you can double up and save. Buy a new AC unit and get 50% off a new furnace to match it. Count on OPOX for fast and professional heating and cooling services. Count on OPOX.
And good evening. We'd like to welcome you back to Memphis 360, the television show that we say we like to go from the boardroom to the streets. And right now we have a special guest in the studio. We have Miss Essica Rosario, who is the president of the Memphis Police Association. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. Thank you. First of all, my first question is, how are you doing with all of this stuff that's been going on? Because I've sat in that seat, and I know that it could get to be a little bit stressful and, you know, different things like that. You got everybody pulling at you, and you're trying to deal with the administration. You're trying to deal with the officers, and then you got to deal with the citizens. Then you got to go home and take care of everything that you got going on at home. So how are things for you?
Things are busy, but I've been able to manage. I have a good crew at the office. They you know, everybody takes their portion of the work, and, you know, we split it up, and it's busy, but we're managing, and I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay, good, good, good. Have you been able to get away and kind of de-stress a little bit?
Last week I was away.
Have you seen that pretty little grandbaby?
Yes, I have.
Okay, good, good, good. Hey, I saw, before we get into some of that other stuff, I read a story on your page that you were talking about a young man and my buddy Tyler. You know, Tyler is my partner. That's Essica's youngest son. And something about his phone, and that story kind of touched me a little bit because of all the things that we do have going on in the city of Memphis and this young man. Can you tell him that story?
Absolutely. So yesterday, I could not pick Tyler up from school. Tyler's 17 years old. His dad was able to get him from school for me, but we meet at a location. It's kind of the halfway point where we meet. And it was raining yesterday. The weather was nasty, and we met at a gas station at Get Well in American Way. And as Tyler got out of the car, out of his dad's truck, he dropped his phone. Didn't know it, didn't realize it until we got home, and we started looking for the phone. I called the phone, and a young man answered the phone, and he said he saw Mom pop up on the phone.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, he was like, hello, ma'am. I knew somebody was going to be looking for this phone, and I just wanted to do the right thing. It was a very positive encounter.
Right.
This young man wanted to do everything he could to help get that phone back to me. I asked if he could meet me at his apartments, and he said, well, I don't have a car. I Uber to and from work, and the story started to evolve, you know, and I started to learn a little bit more about him. And he's been having some hard times lately. And, you know, when I sent Tyler's dad to go and pick up the phone, and he learned a little bit more about the young man, that he doesn't drive because his driver's license is suspended. But he tries to get to work every day by Uber. And we felt compelled to do something to help this young man out because he helped us out. And he said he just wanted to, he didn't know who we were. He didn't know anything about us. He just wanted to help somebody out.
Okay.
And so it's turned out to be a really good interaction. We've been in communications with him, trying to lead him in the right direction on how to get his driving privileges reestablished.
Okay.
Yeah, really good story.
Well, if he's trying to get his driver's license reestablished, please give him my number.
I will.
If in fact he has some fines and fees and different things like that. We hold a expungement clinic every year around July, August time frame, to whereas we get the general session judges to come out and they pre-screen individuals, but they actually wipe out the fees so that individuals can get their licenses back and stuff like that. And it may not, if we look at his record, it may not be as bad as all of that, and we may be able to help them get it restored, and it may not cost anybody anything. So please keep us informed on that.
I will.
Okay, one of the first things I wanted to talk about, because I don't think it's been talked about enough, and that was Officer Geoffrey Redd, the officer that was killed on Poplar at the library, and arrangements are being made or have been completed to say the farewells to him. You know, this guy made the ultimate sacrifice, you know, something that nobody, hopefully, no officer wants to do. This guy was a good guy, family man, I mean, the whole 9 yards, you know. He was a hero that was killed in this city. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
Absolutely. I've known Redd for years. As an officer, I've never worked with him at a precinct, but in passing, I knew him. I've represented him in my capacity at the MPA. And so every time there was an event at the precinct, or I would have to go out to the precinct, he would be there. He was just a fixture at the precincts. He most recently, he was currently working at Appleton Farm Station, but he's worked a little bit of everywhere. So many people on the department have worked with him, and they know him. They have established close relationships with him. He was embedded in the Ridgeway precinct for several years, Airway Station. So the entire department felt this loss.
Right. And I had the pleasure of knowing him as well. And he always had a gentle, sweet spirit. He was always very, very kind and humble. And I'm not just saying that because he was a police officer. I'm definitely saying that because that's just the way he was, you know, always trying to assist, you know, the whole 9 yards. So this was a guy who was a good individual in our community. The kind of people that we said we want on the police department, the individuals we want to represent the police officers in this city, and the kind of individuals that we want to come in contact with citizens because they have an assisting spirit. So how is his family doing?
We've been in contact with his daughters. He has 3 adult daughters.
Wow.
He has a couple of grandkids and his wife as well. We were able to actually see and visit with her today. She came by the office.
Okay.
So we've been in constant contact with his family.
Okay, good. And have the arrangements been made? Can you tell us about the arrangements?
So there will be a visitation in a Sea of Blue on Monday, this coming Monday. And it will be, the visitation will be at his home church.
Greater Community Temple.
Greater Community Temple on Winchester. And the funeral services will be the following day on Tuesday at Hope Church.
Okay. I saw you guys set up a GoFundMe, and it's already up to like $20-some thousand or something like that. So if somebody, a citizen, wants to contribute, and I went and contributed today, I actually used my little Cash app for the first time, but I had to go get Randy to help me do it. But you know, I made my contribution. So if another citizen or police officers in other places, they wanted to contribute to help the family, how can they do that?
It's actually not a GoFundMe. It's a Facebook fundraiser.
Okay.
And if they go to the Memphis Police Association Facebook page or the Memphis Police Association Charitable Foundation Facebook page, you can contribute at either of those places.
Right. And some kind of way I was able to, not a GoFundMe, but I was able to do Cash App. That's what it was, Cash App. I went to $MPACF, $MPACF, and the Police Association, or the Police Association Charitable Foundation tag popped up, and I was able to contribute that way. I'm learning, but Randy had to show me, but I'm learning. So anybody out there that wants to contribute to that, please do. I know we used to a lot of times stand out in the middle of Germantown Parkway with buckets, but technology has taken us other places, and heck, it might not be safe to stand out there in the middle of Germantown Parkway these days. So I'm quite sure that anybody that wants to contribute $MPACF, I'm sure that the police officers in the city of Memphis would be grateful, and it would definitely go to help Officer Redd's family. All right? Okay, so we're going to change lanes a little bit.
Okay.
Can we change lanes?
Let's do it.
It's a lot of stuff going on the Memphis Police Department. What's the morale of the officers like? Post, you know, I know, this is what I know for a fact. I know since the Tyre Nichols incident, it has been very hard for a lot of police officers. It's been hard emotionally, it's been hard physically, and I'm gonna tell you why I say this, because, and this is just me on the outside looking in. I tell everybody I am, and the city of Memphis still pays me for being a police officer, so I'm still embedded in the police department, and I am a current member of the Memphis Police Association. So I get the privilege of being on the Memphis Police Association retirees page. So I still get to see and kind of feel what's going on within the Memphis Police Department. And as I stated earlier, so many officers have called me because they are upset with the situation that I told you about in regards to Officer Redd. And just me looking, you know, a lot of officers didn't agree with what happened in the Tyre Nichols incident. Everybody's trying to stay out of it, you know what I mean? Still trying to do their job. We had an officer, Shaw, who was recognized yesterday at the city council because she talked somebody off the bridge. We still got officers responding to shootings and homicides and home invasions and car burglaries and domestic violence, and they're still out there doing their job every day. And they don't want to be caught up in all of this craziness because they work so hard to do the right thing. What is the morale like right now on the Memphis Police Department?
It's tough.
Okay.
It's tough. Morale is not very good. Officers feel like the entire department is on punishment right now. And that is internally with our administration. They feel that way from the citizens. And it's hard to try to keep them motivated.
Right, okay. Oh, wow. But they're still out here working hard and still doing the things that they need to do. Y'all got a lot of changes going on inside the police department too, I've noticed. Are you at liberty to tell us about any of those changes?
We've had a few promotions, you know, and every time we have retirements and we have promotions, of course, it's going to be a little bit of a shuffle. And I think that's what's happening right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to tell you just from my perspective, when I talk about the morale of the Memphis Police Department, I almost, you know, and I used to be a pretty good judge as the president of the Police Association. I feel like a lot of people are kind of on the edge. I've talked to several people that are contemplating resigning. I know that there are some people that have come in, and I'm talking about individuals that have 7, 8, 9, 10 years on the department. And that's kind of a red flag to me. And it's a red flag to me because normally when you reach the 10, 11, 12 year mark, you're halfway there, so you're committed and you are vested. So you kind of in it for the long haul, normally, because a lot of individuals are looking for that 25 years so that they can go ahead on and have the ability to either stay or go if they choose, or have the ability to retire. And that's what most police officers come on the department for, is to position themselves so that they could have the ability to retire. So when you see individuals coming in at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years and they are retiring, to me that's a red flag. Is that
I mean, officers are having to reevaluate their decision. It's their career choice.
Okay.
They don't feel the love, and we get so much community support, and we get so much love from citizens, but not all citizens.
Right.
And those are the situations that put officers in, you know, a bad way, and it makes them reconsider and say, is this all worth it? So that's where they are, and a lot of them who are, you know, 6, 7 years in, they feel like they're not quite near retirement yet. So they can reevaluate and they can go do something else. And we have officers now, you know, they used to leave and go to other departments and go federal. That, you know, we got officers now who are leaving to go and drive a truck.
Get out of law enforcement
You're just getting out of law enforcement altogether.
Wow.
You know, it's just not worth it.
Ooh-wee. And, you know, they're trying to meet a goal of increasing the number of police officers that are actually on the Memphis Police Department. And this is not something that's just unique to the city of Memphis. So I don't want people to think that it's just the city of Memphis that is having problems recruiting. As a matter of fact, I was sitting in some meetings even with Shelby County government. And, you know, they talked about the Great Resignation, and I will tell you that individuals are leaving, and they're having to take a look at ways, creative ways, and to be able to retain historical knowledge and experienced individuals, because when they start to look outside of Shelby County government and they start to look at the civilian, the civilian sector, they start to look at other municipalities and governmental agencies, individuals are seeing, or the private sector, individuals are seeing that they can make more money because everybody's having a problem recruiting, and everybody is adding incentives and different things like that. And I feel that a lot of police officers now don't want to be the next headline story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you are policing in the most dangerous city in the nation,
Mm-hmm.
per capita, or number 1, 2, 3, 4, wherever you want to put it, but you are policing in the one of the most dangerous cities in the nation per capita. Because Essica, let me tell you, we got 78-year-old women that are being robbed in parking lots, standing next to security guards.
Mm-hmm.
We got 11-year-olds, and let me, Jesus, I had to print this off. I couldn't believe this. When somebody told me about it, I said, man, I got to go look this up. This 11-year-old, y'all, on 12/2/22, he was charged with arson. On 12/8/22, carjacking, weapons, law violation. So that means this 11-year-old had a gun. On 12/14/22, wait a minute. Wait a minute. 12/8/22. So that's December the 8th, 22. Carjacking, weapons, law violation. December the 14th, 22. That's like 6 days later. Carjacking, weapons, law violation. So that means he carjacked somebody, and I know he's 11-year-old, but he carjacked somebody, and he was out on the streets to carjack somebody again with a weapon. And I know his first weapon got confiscated. So that means he has access to guns. So then he got weapons, law violation. Hold on. 12/15. This is the following day. So that means they let him out that same day after carjacking with a gun. So the next day, this guy was out on the 15th of December, robbery of an individual, theft of motor vehicle. God, Jesus. 5 days later, December 20th, robbery of an individual. 6 days later, robbery of an individual. 1/5/23. So that's what, about no, not 14. That's about 9 days later, or 10 days later, the 1/5/23, theft of a motor vehicle, theft from a motor vehicle, and vandalism. 2/2/23, February 2nd, 23, theft of a motor vehicle, burglary times 3, theft of property $10,000 to $60,000. February 10th, this 8 days later, theft of a motor vehicle, burglary of business. This is an 11-year-old. And I wanted to say that because what that says is we have a serious crime problem here in the city of Memphis. I get it. I get it. A lot of people, and I'm trying to figure this city council out because they're trying to put all this stuff in place to handcuff police officers. And I'm thinking, this is Mike Williams talking. I'm thinking, I get it. We don't want things like what happened to Mr. Tyre Nichols to be the case. But I'm going to tell you that we got to be careful because of a lot of the things I believe we put in place already has led to where we are. Trying to soften the laws, and we want to, they put a moratorium on juvenile court those many years ago when they said that there were some disparities in the arrest of young African-American males that were going to juvenile court. But I have to ask the question, who's committing the crimes in this city? Okay, I know somebody gonna say, well, Michael, why you gotta talk about the black kids? Who committed the crimes in this city? I mean, to be perfectly honest. I'm sure that there are some Caucasians down there. I'm sure that there are some Hispanics down there. But for the most part, what I see is a lot of young African-American boys that are committing these crimes. I don't know. Cruz, 19 charges in just over 2 months. And he's probably going to be back out on the streets. But that's just one individual, and he's 11. So we can imagine, because I know they're pulling over guys now 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and that's just the boys. We're not even talking about the little girls, because they are kind of off the frame. So officers have to deal with all of this. Could you imagine an officer running up on this young 11-year-old, and he has a gun?
Absolutely.
And this young man, well, now he's out here, first of all, robbing innocent citizens, somebody's mama, somebody's grandmama, somebody's cousin, whatever. But he's out here robbing people. But could you imagine a police officer right now, here in the city of Memphis, run up on this young man, and he has a gun, and he just happens to point that gun at a police officer. And let's say the police officer is compelled to shoot this young man. How do you think that's going to go over?
Not well.
Wow. I mean, here in the city of Memphis, because with all of this stuff that's going on. And I think we have a lot of people that, me personally, Mike Williams, you know, I don't know nothing. I'm just 63 years old, been around the world a couple of times, been in the Army for 20-something years, been on the police department for 20-something years, done a lot of public service. I'm just saying, grew up in the hood. Me, I don't know about some of y'all, but me, grew up in the hood. Didn't know where some of my food was coming from sometimes. Different things like that. So you can't tell me what's going on out there. In order to fight this crime, you're not gonna like it. Especially, they got body cameras and different things like that, because it's gonna be ugly. Because can you imagine 11-year-old running around with a gun, Barbara Williams, and somebody having to shoot him because he points a gun? Now, he committed 19 offenses in 2 months. A lot of them were robbery. What if a citizen would have shot this 11-year-old? So I believe we got a lot of police officers that feel like they're being put in a situation to whereas they don't want to go to jail. They don't want their families persecuted. So let me ask you this. And I just want to brush over it. How do you think most of the officers, because everybody, you know, is up in arms about the incident that happened to Mr. Tyre Nichols, and look, I understand, I didn't like the video, me personally, Mike Williams, I did not like what I saw. I know a lot of times, and I had even said a long time ago, you know, citizens are going to be, it's going to blow their mind, some of the things that they're going to see on some of these body cameras. And I'm talking about even when officers are right, because you got to put your hands on folk. You got to deal with them. You got to get them, you know, under control. Okay, so you want to see it, now you're going to see it. And it's no different than all of these things that are happening out here in the streets. So let me ask you this. How do you think some of the officers in the Memphis Police Association feel about the incident without going into the ongoing case?
I mean, I think officers feel like the officers or the individuals who were involved in that situation have been dealt with. They are no longer a part of this police department, and the ones who are still here, they deserve to have a reason to do this job. They deserve to have a chief who is going to encourage them, motivate them, and back them. And for somebody to say, it's not okay for it to be open season on my police department. I still have a department of, you know, almost 2,000 officers who come to work every day, who answering these calls and going to serve those victims, doing these reports, still out here fighting crime, because they're still out here fighting crime, they're still out here chasing bad guys. But most officers just want to feel like, okay, they're gone, we're still here. Focus on us, we're still here, we're out here doing this job. And that's how most officers feel.
How do you feel? What's your personal feeling?
I feel the same way. You know,
because see, everybody want to know how the president of the police association
I know, and
feels.
I have to be careful. I have to be careful.
I know.
And because there is a line I have to toe. But you know, I have over 1,900 members that I have to represent every day. And a lot of those 1,900 members are doing really good work. You talked about Officer Shaw, who pulled that suicidal 17-year-old off the bridge.
Right.
And what people don't know is that's the second person she's taken off that bridge in the past 6 months.
Wow.
And officers are doing things like that all over this city.
That really, because I didn't even know about the first time.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know, the second time was newsworthy, I guess, or something happened. I don't know if it was because there was a lot of ice and snow up there or something. So that was caught in the news media. But you're saying that this was the second time in 6 months that she has done that.
And that's just a part of her job. That's just what she does.
She's a CIT officer?
She's a CIT officer.
Okay.
And, you know, we have a department full of heroes. When we talk about Officer Redd and we remember the loss of Officer Redd, we have to remember his young partner that day who was a hero.
Ooh.
And, you know, oftentimes we forget about the officer who has to take a life in defense of his own and everybody else in that library that day. 22-year-old officer who was able to take down that suspect, saved his life, and he saved everybody's life in the library that day.
Wow.
Brand new out of the academy.
See, but that ain't nobody's talked about that.
But I have to.
Well,
because because he's a hero. He is a real hero.
Thank you. We have somebody that want to call in. The number to call is 901-244-6874. 244-6874. See, and that's what I'm talking about. You know, those are the kind of things, you know, I have no problem, and I say it publicly all the time. I have no problem with Chief C.J. Davis doing what she did. I have no problem with her, you know, handling her business like that. But it's more than just that. You know, you got internal to the police department. What about the officers?
Right.
You know. Okay, go ahead, sir. You're on Memphis 360.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
Hey, go ahead, sir. You're on Memphis 360.
You got to turn your TV down because I'm getting feedback.
Okay. Hey, Mike. Hey, go ahead. You got to turn your TV down because I can get feedback.
Jeez, it's a delay.
Yeah, I'm not on the TV. Hey, man, it's Mark for sure.
Okay, hey, what's going on, Mark? Mark, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. What's going on? What you got something you want to say?
Yeah, sure. First of all, long time no see. How you guys doing?
Hey, good.
Essica brought up a great point. You know, if you watched the news yesterday, I was interviewed talking about the training on the police department.
I saw you.
And, I got a little animated because you're trying to compare our training to hairstylists and forklift drivers. That's apples and oranges.
Right.
Like I explained to the reporter, first of all, we're in the top tier of police academies around the United States. That was proven about 6 years ago when we had the mass hiatus of officers going to other police departments.
Right.
So I mean, there's no comparison. But what they excluded in this interview was the fact that once you come out of the academy, you get us a one-man car. If you take those numbers and you add them up totally, that's about 2,000 more hours. So on the surface, what they reported was we only get 480 hours. But when you add that 1 year of training, that's about 2,500 hours of training that they excluded.
Right.
You know, so I think what the point I'm trying to make is the Memphis Police Department are some of the best trained officers in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And what this young man did the other day at that library proved it. He's fresh out of the academy, still learning. But what he was taught during his training, he reverted back to it, and he was able to execute. And, you know, unfortunately, we lost an officer, but we didn't lose any more. That could have been a real bad situation. So
yeah.
I just wanted to allude to that fact that people are always trying to take things away from us, when if they want police reform, they should get with us officers, not some angry citizen who is upset because something they've been arrested or they sitting down with a panel of citizens. And then we sit down and we come to some kind of common ground, not just the fact that one isolated incident, we're taking that and trying to say, we need reform.
Right.
Reform needs to be on both sides, citizens and the officers.
Right.
That's where we're going to level the playing field, because it has to be equal. It just can't be a bunch of people who are angry or have taken a side. We got to be fair with this thing.
Right.
Because every day we put our lives on the line, and it's a thankless job. And like you said, this young man saved a multitude of people in the library.
Right.
Another officer just talked the man off the bridge. That wasn't the first time she's done that.
Right.
But this is the first time it's been publicized.
Well, but
I guess
but
if you guys remember back in 2010, I had a young man coming into my school with a shotgun.
Right.
How much news media did that get?
Not a lot.
Exactly. So,
if any.
We're not concerned about being heroes. We're just basically doing our job.
Right. But the problem is a lot of times, though, Mark, because the news media does not cover that, they only see the bad. And, you know, the media has the ability to influence how the perception of the citizens are, because they're not with you every day. So a lot of times after a hard day's work or getting up in the morning, you sitting down trying to catch up on the news. And as you know, now the news is just repetitive. So it's coming at you all the time. You know, I think Channel 13 stays on from 4:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock in the morning. But the stories are pretty much the same. So you're hearing it, you're hearing it, you're hearing it. They're embedding it in your mind, and that's how you think. So sometimes I get a little frustrated with Ernie, because Ernie is very opinionated. You know what I'm saying? And he throws his opinions in there. And Ernie's a good reporter or a good anchor, but I get a little upset sometimes because he's opinionated. And it's not just with the police, it's with the young men in the community if they're doing something wrong, and I get it. But there used to be a time when the news reported straight news, the way it was, and not necessarily put so much emotions in it, because they have the ability to influence the people in the community and to steer them in a certain direction, you know. And I think we have to be careful when it comes to that, because a lot of times the good things that the officers are doing on a daily basis, you got officers that are feeding people daily. You know, you got officers that are stopping by checking on people daily. You got officers that are working with kids in different programs daily. You know what I mean? And nobody ever, unless it's something unique. You know, we got a young white female officer that's working with all these black kids. That's newsworthy.
The DARE program, DARE that I didn't even hear about.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think we have to be careful. Hey, man, but we thank you so much for calling. We really, really, really appreciate it.
No problem, Mike. All right, thanks for the time.
Hey, thank you. Oh, wow. Hey, the number to call is 244-6874, 244-6874. We got a couple of minutes left. If, in fact, you got something that you want to ask Essica Rosario, president of the Memphis Police Association. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
How is Chief Davis working with the MPA? How is that going? How is that relationship going?
You know, it's not a bad relationship.
Okay.
Chief Davis is very, she's friendly. She presents herself well. She has that kind of personality that will just draw you in. She does. I saw her yesterday, and we hug when we see each other.
Okay.
So we have a decent relationship, and I think we're able to communicate. She has given me the leverage to call my cell phone when you need to call me,
right.
And I have done that, and she welcomes that. So I can't speak bad about what our interactions have been and what our communication level is. We're able to talk. We're able to have communications.
Right. And I'm not asking. I'm not looking for anything bad.
Right.
I truly wanted to know. As I was typing these questions up last night, it kind of hit me because, like I say, I'm not as involved, and I'm like, well, I wonder how the relationship is between Chief Davis and the Memphis Police Association.
Right.
So I said, I'm gonna ask Essica. Go ahead, caller. You're on Memphis 360.
The fact that the street is not the place to hold court, would Mr. Nichols still be with us if he had complied that night?
Wait a minute, say what now?
I think that it's an important fact to point out that the street is not the place to hold court,
comply with the officers and hold court in court, not on the street.
Okay. I understand. You said so. What you're saying is the street is not the place to hold court. If Mr. Nichols would have complied, then we wouldn't be where we are now.
Right.
Okay. All right. Got something you want to say to that?
No.
Okay. All right. Anything else, sir?
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for that call. We got about 3 minutes left. I think it was one other thing that I wanted to ask. Okay. Is there anything you, as the president of the Memphis Police Association, want the public to know? I know you haven't done a lot of interviews, but if it's something you want the public to know about the Police Association or about anything that's going on right now, look into that camera right there and give it to them.
A lot of times our position at the MPA is misunderstood. The citizens expect or they think that the Memphis Police Association defends actions of officers, and that's not my job. It's not my job to defend anybody's actions. It's only my job to make sure the process by which these officers' investigations are completed is fair and it is done in completion. That's it.
Right. Well, I definitely want to thank you so much for taking the time out. Like I said, I know you haven't really done a lot of interviews, and I really appreciate you coming to sit down to talk to us because a lot of the citizens have wanted to see you as well. I know you probably keep the members of the Police Association informed, but sometimes I think that the citizens, because I saw it in a couple of different posts actually, why haven't the Police Association responded? And she said, you got to be careful because, you represent the police officers and you got to make sure that they are represented.
Right.
And that's your primary focus at that particular time. And at the same time, I know the citizens kind of want to know from their perspective how the Police Association is feeling about all of this. And I will have to tell you, Essica and I are two very different people. I was a little bit more vocal and out there, but Essica is a very, very, very smart young lady. She's probably a lot smarter than me because she used to have to pull me off the ledge all the time. Even today, in here, she was like, bring your ass down, bring your ass off of it, stop! But like I told her, I had her down there because I wanted to say what I wanted to say. And this is my show. So I want to say this before we leave. Whatever was said on this show is not a reflection of the Memphis Police Association. It's not a reflection of the SPP TV network. It is the reflection of Michael R. Williams, citizen, veteran, ex-police officer, father, grandfather, and someone who is very concerned about this city from the bottom to the top. And everybody should be held accountable for their actions. So until next week, same time, same location, be blessed, be strong, be encouraged, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
You're talking about a good time shield. When we all alone. Come on now. Stop.
Center Stage Gospel Music live from Memphis, Tennessee, featuring gospel artists from around the world. Toe tapping, hand clapping, down home gospel music. Watch on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and your local Comcast. Download the SVP TV app now on your smart television and mobile device. Center Stage Gospel season premieres Sunday, 8 p.m. Central. Can you actually imagine hosting your next event at the all-new SVP Banquet and Event Center? Yes, spacious, beautiful venue with plenty of parking, located in the heart of East Memphis. Let us host your next intimate birthday gathering, family repast, bachelorette party, wedding and reception, baby shower, corporate meeting, social club event. Call us today. Don't wait. 901